So I said, grease me up again, Bartholomew. I'm going in one more time. And that's the story of how I got stuck in a barrel.
Oh, okay.
Welcome everyone to Big Damn Cast Nerdy News, geeky gossip, stuff that's fit to fill your time for a little bit, I guess. I mean, you've probably got chores to get around to, important things.
Possibly.
Maybe go like feed your pets or just go for a walk. Like you can take us with you.
Yeah.
You can take us with you. We could be in your ear. For now. I am Chris Lahargill Johnson.
And I'm here under protest.
That's very true. We're reluctant this week in many ways. Well,
more than some weeks, I suppose.
More than some weeks. See, we had
more reluctant than usual.
Early on in the show's run, we made it pretty clear that there's a certain show we both really like.
And one that you did a previous podcast about.
Yeah, I did a whole damn season, which
a limited series one. I might add, just before anyone pipes up about it again.
In 2015, oh my god, that was 7 years ago.
2015,
terrifying. But yeah,
2015.
9 is 10, a series that celebrated the return of Doctor Who to our screens 10 years on. Because I quite like Doctor Who, and it's safe to say you quite like Doctor Who. And
it's been said.
We'll talk more about that soon, but we made it very clear in the early days that we didn't just want to keep talking about it, because we're sort of... People know we like it, so always ask us about it. And we were always reluctant on this podcast to just answer questions about Doctor Who.
We contain multitudes. You know? Not just Doctor Who.
Yeah. However... Considering the ominous countdown that's been surrounding the show, we thought it was only fair to do an episode where we just shoot the shit about it and answer some of your questions about it.
Yeah, let's shoot the shit about it.
But there's been some pop culture news first.
There's been a little bit of pop culture news.
Some of it, hot shit, dropped right into our inbox.
Like literally 2 minutes ago.
Moments ago, yeah. It's nuts. We're recording this on Tuesday the 15th. So if anything bigger comes out between now and then, fuck it. Here's our opinions on it. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I didn't like the way they did the thing.
No, actually, I quite like the way they did the thing.
I like how the thing did a thing with its thing.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of the thing.
I can't wait for the porn parody. So yeah.
Can't say that about the one we've just seen.
Oh, no, but the thing we've just seen. No. No. Speaking of Adam and Joe.
Hey!
No. Did you know they did a brand new hour for Six Music last week? So Six Music celebrating its 20th birthday.
Now I know.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's a really fun hour, but it's mostly music with them doing links, and they're representing the year 2007. So there's not a lot of Adam and Joe about it. But there is a really fun bit where Adam reads about the successful Oscar-winning actor Adam Buxton and what he's been up to in the years since 2007. Because, of course, Hot Fuzz was out in 2007, and his performance in that garnered media praise and fan adoration the world over.
Some might say the praise for it made him lose his head.
But also, there's a thing in it where Joe has an envelope full of predictions for the year 2022 that he apparently wrote and sealed in 2007. And it's one of those lovely sort of like cakes with layers of bullshit that they used to do on the show, where like one of them would bring something like an item or an idea, like pod facts and things like that, Glastonbury facts, and it's just like they're just bullshitting the other one and seeing how long they could seriously be like, okay, yeah. It's magical. So it's worth listening to, and the music they pick is really, really good as well. But it's a bit like, that wasn't really an Adam and Joe event. It was more of a, Adam and Joe are going to host some links for an hour on Six Music. But it's on BBC Sounds. Yeah, but right now, Ms. Marvel! The teaser trailer for Ms. Marvel just came out.
Yay!
With Kamala Khan.
Yay!
Kamala. I love how they've got that in already to be like, people, pronounce the name correctly, because you're all going to be doing shitloads of video essays and podcasts and God knows what about this, like, before it comes out. So, Kamala. We see her sort of hero worshipping and imitating Captain Marvel. She's built her own costume. It's a pretty great cosplay costume, to be fair. At one point after the exhibit, presumably after the events of Endgame, she changes the colours so that it matches her newer costume, which is nice. First things to notice, charming lead. She seems really sweet.
Yeah.
The indie style is nice. They're sort of carrying on the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep.
Oh my god, what's the director? John Watts.
Make it feel, if it's about young people, make it feel a bit younger.
Yeah, a bit quirkier. Play on the fun of being in a superhero universe a bit more, which it looks like they're doing.
And you know that Kamala is a slightly quirkier character than all of the leads we've had so far. She's
a fangirl.
Yeah.
She's in the 2010s. A few characters were created in Marvel Comics that were kind of reflective of the people who read Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
But not like, big old hairy basement dwelling nerds like us, but more sort of the younger enthusiastic fans who, so like Ms. Marvel was.
I don't have a basement, and I've never had a basement, and I really, really want one.
Oh, Bay.
A basement.
You and I would say, were delighted when this character first showed up. Like whether we read her stuff or just became aware of her because it was such a cute idea.
Yeah. Her first series particularly was very, very, very good.
Proper sweet, and yeah, the whole thing about like personal identity and religious identity and being a young girl and like hero worshipping somebody but not quite realizing your own worth in amongst that and learning about it. Great story, really, really great stuff, and also just started off this wave of characters that were fans of the Marvel heroes because they've grown up in the world with them. So like Miles Morales obviously is a reflection of Spider-Man and whatnot, and like Nova, despite the familial connection and everything, like the idea of like I'm gonna be like the original Nova and all that stuff, and then obviously Kamala as wanting to be Captain Marvel and that really heartbreaking and sort of like personal reflection moment in her first story where she's like transforming herself to look like Carol and that whole thing of you really shouldn't be doing this, like you should be yourself. It's again just tackling things like systemic racism and what is presumed to be things she's going to do and familial pressures and religious pressure and finding that balance between being yourself and not disrespecting or upsetting your family, but also like knowing to set boundaries for them on what restrictions they should put on you as an individual. Big heavy themes told in a really quirky, lovely style.
Yes.
And also she's a massive doodler because she creates costumes and writes fanfic. She's a Marvel character that writes fanfiction. So the fact this trailer starts with everything being in a scrapbook style right down to there being speech bubbles on screen for every character talking and handwriting is like, that is very cute as hell. Nice.
I wonder if it's going to be a stylistic thing that they carry through into the show for certain sequences.
I kind of hope so.
I would like that.
I really hope so. And Ang Lee's sat there going, you bastards! I did this 19 years ago and you all mocked me!
Yeah, you may have done it first, Ang. Did you do it well?
No, but bless him, he tried.
Amazing
filmmaker. Not a great Hulk movie. Amazing filmmaker.
Amazing filmmaker, not amazing film.
Yeah, exactly. Exactamundo. We don't know who the villain is, but we know that Kamala's power set's changing.
Yes, I like the way it looks.
Comic book Kamala, Terrigen Mists, Terrigen Crystals. She's an Inhuman. She has the power of embiggening, essentially.
She embiggens.
Like she can stretch and change the mass of her body, so she can grow bigger. She can like grow longer limbs, all that cool shit. Basically, if Mr. Fantastic were Stretch Armstrong, instead of an endless stretchy guy, more of a big bulky kind of.
If he was less a roll of tape and more Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. That's there you go. That's a great one. Here, looks like it's to do with trinkets, alien trinkets. So she always wears these sort of wrist bangles in the comic. Well, she always wears at least one. I'm looking at the action figure and I'm like... there's always like one big one she wears. She always wears two, but there's always like one bracelet or whatever. Looks like in this, she's... it's tech-supported, tech-related.
She finds some sort of trinket in her chest and gets powers from it.
Yeah, she's not stretching, but she's like creating Green Lantern-esque sort of...
Yeah, it's like energy projection.
Yeah, although we get to see a few lovely shots in this trailer that are there to, I suppose, assuage any fears that it won't look like Ms. Marvel, where she's like essentially projecting her
fist.
long ass arm and a big fist. It's like, okay, we're going to see a version of the embiggening.
Yeah.
I've voiced before on this podcast that like the idea of that when it was first teased from some leaked promo art.
Yeah.
That was what it was going to be. I was like, that kind of loses what makes her power set so visually unique. It's kind of not gross, but it leans more into the grotesquerie of the idea of the body stretching. Mr. Fantastic's always played, at least, cover art Mr. Fantastic as, he's stretching around this corner, or he's growing tall, or he's like, slithering above everybody to get a better vantage
he does all
point.
Sorts of weird
but
shit.
in the comics, he's weird as hell. Parachutes, envelops people, like has his fingers individually going off and controlling machines and everything. But on the covers, it's always a very kind of like, oh, that man's stretching. Whereas Kamala is very unashamedly, that's freaking weird. It's like a hand's been stung by bees. It's just so massive. What's happening? So I was a bit, losing that's kind of... But what's more key than that is the character of Kamala being translated well and accurately, and the spirit of the character being kept in the adaptation. Based on this trailer, that's Kamala Khan.
Oh, yeah.
That is Kamala Khan. The sense of
Feels
fun
like
and
Kamala
energy,
Khan.
it's all there.
I get you.
So
I agree.
I'm not too fussed about the power change. And as someone in the comments on the YouTube trailer said, it's probably been done to differentiate from Mr. Fantastic, who we are getting in the near future.
Mr. Fantastic.
Based on rumours, in the very near future. In a cameo appearance in Multiverse of Madness.
Well, they keep saying
that, and I wouldn't put it past them. It might not be the MCU from Mr. Fantastic, but I wouldn't be surprised if Owen Griffith just rocked up for a scene.
Is there a list somewhere of all the actors and characters who haven't been rumoured to be showing up in Multiverse of Madness?
Let's decide who definitely won't show up in it.
Robert Downey Jr.
Downey Jr. because he's like, I'm kind of done now, guys.
He's done.
Fucking
for crying out loud.
Angel Dust. She ain't showing up. Oh, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
It's been revealed that in the Mando stuff, Cara Dune is a playable character, which of course they could very easily just edit out because the Mando stuff's not a full storyline. It'll be one of those truncated DLC kind of vibes.
This is true.
But the fact she hasn't is alluding to the idea that maybe they're planning something more for the character, irregardless of who's playing them.
It would not surprise me if they recast.
Put her in an animation. Have someone else voice her and put the character in an animation. Like, there you go. Boom. Dead Simples.
Dead Simple.
That's another trailer that came out this week. Obi-Wan. Or rather, Kenobi.
Obi-Wan. Desperado.
Inquisitors. We've got Inquisitors.
Yeah, I've got Inquisitors.
Including the Grand Inquisitor.
But
from Rebels.
But he doesn't look exactly like he does in Rebels, so it's not right. I don't want it changed. I'm starting a petition to get it changed because nothing else more important is going on in the world.
So, it's in live action. It's a new interpretation. But they were in live action in episode 3 and they had long faces. And yeah, that's fine because what they would have done is to capitalise on the look of the characters. They would have cast tall actors with that longer physique.
It's
people
Bruce
who are like
Spence.
7 foot. Yeah, exactly.
It's Bruce Spence, and of course he's got a long fucking face. It's Bruce fucking. You've seen Bruce Spence? Have you seen him?
Lately.
Where is Bruce Spence?
Where in the world is Bruce Spence? There's no. Look, they've cast whoever they want for the role. If they want to spend money digitally extending their features, they can. If not, they don't have to. Doesn't fucking matter. You are so fucking lucky. You are so... you have a Star Wars live-action television universe, bitch! And this is what you're hung up on. Go away. Go touch some grass for the love of fuck. Sorry.
Look, Chris, remember when they ruined Cad Bane in live action?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
He looked great.
Because he looked fucking
Well,
awesome.
that guy went in and digitally tweaked it to make it look more like the animated version.
Well, he had too much time on his fucking hands, didn't he?
It was like, that's fine, that's cool. What a cool bit of effects work that guy's done. Hey, guess what? You just got Cad Bane in a live-action Boba Fett show. Whether you like the show or not, whether the shows have problems or not, you got it. You can choose to like it, dislike it, doesn't fucking matter.
I believe in Cad Bane.
Oh, Jesus. I believe in Harvey Dent.
Long Cad Bane.
It looks fun. We don't see much. We see Uncle Owen, same actor playing him from
Joel
episode 3.
I believe the actress who played Beru's returning as well.
Yeah, we know about young Luke, for the love of fuck. Shitty internet culture. Do not Jake Lloyd this kid.
So it looks like...
Do not Jake Lloyd him, you
It looks
utter
like
bricks.
it's about 10 years after Sith.
Yeah, because Luke looks about 10,
He looks
11.
about 10.
Yeah, so it's about another 10 or so years till...
Pretty much smack bang in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's before he kills Maul.
Because it also came out this week that Maul was in the series as pitched, and then when they got... What's the name who's directing it? Oh, God, she did a shitload of Mandalorian.
I don't remember.
She's done a really good job as well, and I feel really bad for forgetting her name. I'll look it up. But,
well, there's a lot of names. Let me look it up while you talk.
Well, the director of the series...
Yeah.
She she overhauled a lot of the story.
Yes, well, they basically scrapped all the scripts, didn't they?
Yeah, she came in because originally it was going to be a film. That was the thing. It was going to be a film. It was going to be Kenobi, a Star Wars story, and then Solo didn't do so well. Rogue One did all right. Solo didn't do so well.
Deborah Chow.
Deborah Chow, thank you so much, Deborah Chow. Solo didn't do so well, so they scrapped it. But obviously, you know, Ewan McGregor and others who'd signed on were like, are we doing something or what? Like, what's going on? Mandalorian Series 1 does gangbusters, and then that's when they went, Kenobi! Like, it was about a year later. It was 2020 Christmas where they just did that massive slate announcement for Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, Kenobi's happening, motherfuckers. And it's going to be a Disney Plus series, a limited series, which I'm happy with. I like the fact that it's 6 episodes and done. I think that's the right way to do it. Make it an event. Make it a mini-series that all people tune in for and enjoy.
Yes.
Same with Book of Boba Fett. I don't want another Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
It's a fun little bridge between seasons of The Mandalorian. But yeah, and then apparently, you know, higher-ups, Kathleen Kennedy and whatnot, Lucasfilm, turned to what's the name again, sorry?
Deborah Chow.
Deborah Chow. Turned to Deborah Chow and Dave Filoni and said, do whatever you think is necessary to tell the best story you can of this character in this time period. And they went, okay, Darth Vader. So,
which is going to be interesting. Are we going to see Darth and Obi-Wan face off in between Sith and A New Hope? Because it could happen. It could work.
Yeah, because they never did they? They never did in any of the spin-off media, any of the canon spin-off media.
They don't
anyway.
actually. He doesn't actually turn around and say it in New Hope. The last time I saw you was when you left me burning on Mustafar. All he says was, when I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master.
Yeah, and it's entirely possible that he still felt like he was learning and whatnot, that if they faced off in this interim.
But then, yeah. But that's
they might not.
But he doesn't say, when I last saw you, I was
They
but a
might not
learner.
even cross paths.
They might not even cross paths.
Like, we may get Vader, and they may not cross paths. There's an Imperial meeting room at one point in the trailer with a chair that's clearly for Vader because it looks like his fucking Mustafar castle. It's this big pointed back to the chair.
No, we're getting Rupert Friend is the Grand Inquisitor. In
Yeah,
this.
yeah, great casting.
Good casting.
Really good casting.
I like Rupert Friend.
We've got another Inquisitor character. She's a new one who's not been
Yes.
introduced before because the Inquisitors have been in Rebels, in the Marvel comics. They've
in
been Jedi Fallen Order. The second Inquisitor. She's like the main villain, so she gets
was Fifth Brother in
spoiler
thingy as well.
I don't think
or
so.
Rebels?
Is it Ninth Sister? I can't remember the name now. Basically, the one who looks like a giant orange crocodile hippopotamus creature. Yeah. She's a really cool boss fight in Fallen Order. Seemingly dies falling out of a tree on Kashyyyk, but we never see the body. So
Kashyyyk's a big place.
Kashyyyk's a big place. She might have fallen on Lumpy's porno holograph machine. Maybe she's just been sat there recovering, watching some Jefferson Starship.
Why would you, though?
Some Harvey Korman doing a cooking show.
You want to know something about Jefferson Starship? They're not as good as people say they are. We built this city. It's not a good song. Next.
Thank you. Next. Jesus Christ. And, McGregor, glimpses of him. Want to see more. This new Inquisitor, she looks quite cool. I'm interested to learn more about her.
I'm interested to just see the series and see what they do. Because, I like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I like Ewan McGregor. And if they want to bring him up against Anakin again, I'm here for it. If they don't, it's cool to see Darth Vader. I like Darth Vader. I love the Darth Vader comics. So, particularly the Kieran Gillen ones. So, why wouldn't I want to see more Darth Vader? I think he's an interesting character that we can explore. I
am also weirdly glad we're leaving Tatooine, because even though at first I was like, if it leaves Tatooine, it's kind of the point of his exile and his self-imposed watch over the Skywalker child is kind of disrupted if he has to leave. But at the same time, we've spent a shitload of time on Tatooine in the last few years in these shows.
If there's something that is a threat to Luke that is not on Tatooine, then it makes sense that he would go and tackle that.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. No one necessarily knows that Luke is there.
No.
That's why Obi-Wan is staying there, because he's keeping an eye out in case someone figures it out. So if he leaves planet to go and do whatever, I suppose, Luke's not under any immediate threat. Unless, of course, it's about people hunting down the Jedi going, now why is that Jedi there?
Yeah.
What's this all about?
What's on Tatooine? Yeah. Well, it's out of the way.
Tatooine.
To be fair,
what's on Tatooine?
You could get away with hiding on Tatooine. It's supposed to be bumfuck nowhere in terms of the galaxy.
The bumblefuck of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just like it is.
Bumblefuck Kenobi.
It is.
I've not been called that in a long time.
It's like Podunk Shit Town of the Star Wars galaxy. So yeah, but
I'm excited.
Everything happens there because people like it. I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Generally, I like Star Wars things.
Yeah.
I like it that they happen.
I
don't always like them when I've seen them.
Yeah.
But I like Star Wars, so...
Give me Star Wars.
Yeah.
Give me pizza.
I will watch...
Whipped cream flows like waterfalls.
I will watch Star Wars stuff, even if it's not always good. And if it's not good... I just won't go back to it. There we go.
See how easy that was, everyone?
That's what we do.
Moon Knight looks fun. We got one last teaser before its release a week or two from now. Looks pretty slick. The teaser trailer, the TV spot, gives us a glimpse of Steve talking to Mark Spector in his reflection, which is nice. Like Steve Reeves, but that's cool. So it's like he will be briefed. No, he won't have to completely put the story together.
Will it be brief though? I think it was only 6 episodes.
God, he's not necessarily having to put the whole story together himself. One of his other personalities will be there in his head somewhere, trying to guide him into it, which is cool. I love the choice to be like, right, comic book reader, who's Moon Knight? Oh, it's Mark Spector. Right, cool.
Is it?
TV adaptation. All right, who's the show about? Steve. Wait, what? What about Mark Spector? This is how we're going to fucking learn about Mark Spector. Through the eyes of another one of his personalities. It's like, oh, that's a great idea.
Through the eyes of Steve.
They also clarified a lot this week that they work with people who study and deal with people with dissociative identity disorder to make this as sensitive as possible. They didn't want it to be seen as a horror gimmick. So it looks like essentially they're not going to do anything too outlandish. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, class
again,
for that matter.
Bless McAvoy, fucking incredible performances, but...
Did you ever get around to seeing Glass?
No, your review was all I needed, and it was beautiful.
It's fucking gash.
I think it's on Netflix, so I might give it a spin.
Glass
is gash. No, it might be Disney Plus, actually. It might be on Star.
Oh, yeah, it might be on Star.
Speaking of, so the Netflix shows have a confirmed transfer. The Marvel Cinematic Universe Netflix shows have a confirmed transfer to Disney Plus. And in America, they're looking at setting the parental controls and changing everything. And a boatload of right-leaning media is up in arms about the idea that Disney's going to put this stuff up for our kids to watch. This is disgusting. And it's so weird to me, because I'm like, motherfuckers, we've had Star since last year. We've had non-kid-friendly content on Disney Plus since last year.
Yeah, because no one cares about things until someone makes them aware that there's something that they can get attention by being mad about.
Well, I wonder...
That's the reason that these people are mad about this. They're mad about it because someone's gone, oh, you should be mad about this. You'll get some attention. And then they'll go, I'm outraged by it.
Well, I wondered why they're using it to kick off. And then I did a bit of digging. There hasn't been anything that isn't family friendly on Disney Plus in the States up until these ones being added.
Because they've got Hulu, haven't they?
Because they've got Hulu. Yeah, because they've got Hulu, they've got the Fox network, which even though Disney own it now, obviously, like, you know, they've got their own platform and channels and stuff to show things. Fox News is the only non-Disney Fox thing. Yeah. Hence why they're the ones leading this bullshit.
Yeah, even they didn't want that.
And
let's make no mistakes. Disney ain't fucking perfect.
Oh God, no.
Especially with the stuff about coming out about the Don't Say Gay thing.
Oh God, yeah. Oh jeez, jeez. Florida, you fucking shit.
Just don't.
Can't wait to go back there later this year.
Just not with the anti-LGBT stuff, please. Thanks.
Oh, speaking of anti-LGBT shit and bad timing, the next PlayStation State of Play will be out by the time this episode's out.
And what is it?
It's Hogwarts Legacy.
Let me see.
Again, just to reiterate, Hogwarts Legacy and the people who made it, they're not anti-LGBTQ. They're not transphobic.
Yeah, but you want to
But
talk
it's
about...
weird that this is the week that it's getting some promotion after a solid near fortnight of J.K. Rowling
just being
wading into every Twitter conversation and basically dumping transphobic beliefs everywhere.
It's ironic that the game's called Hogwarts Legacy because that's exactly what J.K.'s pissed all over.
Yeah.
Like, she's just squatted herself and pooped out all over all the old Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
It's tarnished.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. And I feel so bad for everyone who's worked on it.
The really cool thing that's come out of it on social media, though, is people reminding everyone how great Terry Pratchett was.
Yes.
In comparison.
Yes.
Like, because it was also the anniversary of Terry Pratchett's death.
Yeah, a few months back, sort of far right movement were trying to co-opt Terry Pratchett, and it was really weird because every time they attempted it, people would come back with 5 or 6 other story character or quotes like related things, going, "The fuck are you talking about?" and show that like no, so Terry was one of the most progressive and kind-hearted fucking writers on the planet.
And then his daughter comes on the scene and is like, "Listen, chuckle fucks.
Yeah."
I know what my dad was like, because I'm his fucking daughter. You ain't going for any of this right-wing bullshit. So you can fuck right off. You get on your bikes.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Emma Watson presented an award at the BAFTAs this week, where Rebel Wilson hosting made a joke about, like, she's a witch, and whatnot, and then Emma Watson comes up and she says, yeah, I'm here for all witches.
Yeah.
And then mimes, bar one. And it's like, wow.
And the look on her face as well.
It's so cheeky.
Very good.
And can we just take a moment to say, if you are there going, fucking Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, biting the hand that feeds. I'm sorry, you're saying that they need to either stay out of any discourse around J.K. Rowling or back her up because their first successful acting job that got them prominence was playing characters in adaptations of her books. So you're saying that because they're famous now because of her. No, they're famous because they did an audition and they got the fucking part in a movie.
Well,
yes, those parts only existed because of her, but here's the thing.
Did they all audition?
If you were born into an abusive family, where every day your parent or parents beat the fuck out of you, every day, for your entire childhood until you got into adulthood and left, would you then stick with them and defend them after that? No, of course you fuck. But they gave birth to you. Yeah, and then they treated me like shit for 17, 18 years. Why would I support them? This is the same kind of thing. It's the exact same kind of thing. Obviously she didn't. Someone's going to go, what are you saying that she beat them? No, of course not. Don't be fucking stupid. But, if they, as children, got this gig and became famous because they played roles in a franchise that she created, and then she turned around and shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, would they then defend her? Of course they wouldn't. Why would they? Why should they? It's bizarre. It is utterly bizarre when people use that as an argument to me. Like saying, you owe me. You owe me. What a horrible, creepy mob mentality version of family and support. Do you know what I mean? What a weird, well, you got to stay out of this because they, it's like, I'm sorry, are they currently earning money because of Harry Potter? No.
Well, possibly.
And even if they were, they're adults. They're well within their right to go, do you know what? I don't support what she's saying. I just, oh God. I don't, ugh. Joan, get off the internet.
Just stop being online.
Get off the internet, and it should go without saying, trans women are women, trans men are men. Yeah. Trans rights, trans lives matter.
Yeah.
Fuck this transphobic bullshit. I mean,
how do I beat Beaver Bother?
How do I beat Beaver Bother, Graham? How do I do it? Yeah. You know, else has pissed me off on the internet this week? Last thing before we go into Doctor Who.
Many things. Many things.
Batman came out. The Batman.
Oh, The Batman.
We watched it. We had a great time.
It's a long time, but it's a good time.
I've still been thinking about it.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 weeks on, I still think about it. It's a phenomenal film.
Drive.
It's great. Is it perfect? No. Has it got problems? Yeah. Has it got
too fucking long?
Yeah. It's got some weird narrative choices. There's some stuff I don't particularly care for. As a Batman fan, I'm kind of upset that we're probably not going to get the more fantastical elements based in the world they set up going forward. But at the same time, it's got a hopeful ending, and the whole movie's about, hey, dark, gritty, like, I work alone, Batman is reductive. And he needs to be better than that. That's the message of the whole movie, which makes me happy, because I'm like, I can't wait to see where they take this next.
In the wake of it, I've gone back and read Year One and Long Halloween, and I'm currently reading Dark Victory, and just remembering, oh yeah, these are fucking great stories.
That Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale team up as well. So good.
Yeah.
Did you know that...
Did you know?
Apparently, not only is Robert Pattinson the worst Batman, but he's also not the worst Batman, because the worst Batman is apparently Michael Keaton.
What? So we gave him 2 ears up, Chris, in our official Batman ranking.
Banking. In the Batspank Bank. It's become a common practice by not all Snyderverse aficionados.
A certain subset of those who tweet under the Restore the Snyderverse bannier.
Yeah. Who it's become common practice amongst quite a lot of them to shit on any other version of Batman that isn't Batfleck.
It's long been a common behaviour of theirs to shit on any version of any DC thing that isn't the one that they like.
Peacemaker gets shat on by them. The Suicide Squad.
Not that I've seen
it. It's
not available in the UK yet.
Well,
but Peacemaker's very, very good.
So he's heard.
So I'm told.
They shat all over Shazam.
Shazam's fucking.
They defended Wonder Woman 1984 because of Zack and Deborah's involvement as producers, despite the fact that it was quite obviously, again, objective opinion, not a good film.
It's subpar.
It's subpar, especially when compared to its predecessor and everything.
Yeah, I really wanted to like Wonder Woman a lot more than I did.
We never go into anything wanting to hate it. We always want.
I was looking forward to it, you know.
It was like the first new movie that we watched in a year and change, and it was like, here we go. And we watched it and went, oh no,
disappointed.
Kevin Sorbo does.
Disappointment.
But yeah, so we they stood behind it because it was produced by Zack and Deborah. Even though Zack and Deborah have production credits on Shazam and like Birds of Prey and other movies that they apparently hated.
Zebra.
Oh god. Jesus. Do you remember when we said ages ago that if a version, if a Snyder cut of Justice League was ever actually created, that would not be enough for this culture that's built around it.
Wouldn't you know?
Wouldn't you fucking know it? Because now they are pushing so aggressively for Ben Affleck to return as Batman, and they're slagging off the Batman because
have they asked him?
Have
they asked Ben Affleck whether he wants to do it or not?
He has been quoted in several interviews now saying that he doesn't want to return.
Yeah,
he's done.
He's done. He's had enough. Look at what he did to him. He broke his spirit, and it wasn't a very fucking sturdy spirit to begin with. He's not exactly had the most let's say stable mental health and personal life, and then this has just broken him even further. And you're like, but I want to see more Billy Batman. See, you want to see more Ben Affleck putting himself through something that is clearly harmful to him because I want more Billy Batman. It's like, no, let the dude do
what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. Yeah.
He's by no means a perfect human being. I'm not like, Ben Affleck is a saint. Like, he's clearly done bad things to people and he's hurt people, but he deserves to at least try and be better, like we all do. So stop trying to force him and begging him into doing something that you don't want to do for your own entertainment. Because no one cares about you.
Dude came back to reprise the role for several new scenes for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So he obviously cares enough about your opinion.
Is he in the Flash as well?
Well, that's the thing. He cares enough about this fan base's opinion that he's like, I'll come in and I'll help Zack finish this version of the movie he's going to make. I'll reprise the role for a few new scenes. And he is in Andy Muschietti's upcoming The Flash. He's one of 2 Batman incarnations that will be appearing in it alongside Keaton. Keaton's universe seemingly being the primary one where the story of the film is set, or at least a bulk of the second
act is set. It is difficult to share a screen with Ezra Miller.
don't get me started on. That's a whole separate thing.
I mean, well, yeah, we'll get
Do you know what? Without telling everybody, because you can wait till next week to find out officially what's going on, everybody. But I'm so glad we don't have to fucking talk about Fantastic Beasts 3 in any capacity. I mean, we weren't going to see it. We weren't going to see it anyway. Yay! But like now we are under no obligation to even talk about. I mean, I've
managed to avoid the first two, so I'm not looking to get into the third. It's like as an adult, it's like I'm not saying the Harry Potter like universe is childish, but as an adult, it just doesn't have the same charm. So when you take away the characters that you grow to like over those 7 books,
and especially with the film adaptations, the actors that play them, they make you go, "What a great performance!"
When you take those away, I don't think the universe itself is compelling enough for me to want to visit stories set in it. Because as fantasy universes go, I just don't think it's a very interesting or well thought out one. Like, I'm not saying that everything has to have impeccable logic. I mean, look at the shit I like. But
what are you currently holding in your hand?
I'm holding a Transformer.
Exactly. It's ridiculous and fantastical.
I only like roughly 50% of Transformers media. To be fair. So maybe less than that. But it just isn't compelling. And like it's one of those things that is not compelling enough. You know, I don't think it's a must that any sort of fantasy setting or universe must have logic that you can examine and go, well, that's flawless. But if something is not interesting or exciting enough for you to A, either not notice that it doesn't make sense, or B, not care that it doesn't make sense because you're having so much fun and enjoying engaging with it so much. See Star Wars, for example. Mm-hmm. And like the poorer Star Wars media is not enjoyable enough for you to make that disconnect. I don't think the Harry Potter media outside of the books and some of the movies is compelling enough on its own to make that, you know, to just keep you from seeing the joins. And the joins are not very strong. I just don't think it's a particularly interesting universe to play in. For all that people seem to fucking love it.
Yeah.
Once you take away those characters from those books, I don't get it.
How long before the Warner Brothers studio tour down outside of London changes to like Warner Brothers movies in general, do you think?
Oh, can't come soon enough.
I can imagine them keeping...
Warner Brothers have got so much cool stuff they could show off.
I can imagine them keeping Harry Potter sections. Like the Great Hall there is an impressive set, and like the Forbidden Forest expansion. I imagine them keeping stuff like that, but then being like, right, fuck it. This section's now Batcave, and we're going to do Batman movie. I mean, there's been a Batman exhibit tour in the US for the last like 6-7 years, with stuff from like the Burton films, the Schumacher films, the Nolan movies, stuff from the DCEU. Like, imagine if that exhibit, they're just like, fuck it. We're bulldozing this section. It's going to be the Batcave. We're going to have a shitload of Batmobiles. It's like, yes, boys!
We're going to get the Batcave back that used to be in Manchester Roundtale.
Oh my god,
all those years back.
Oh.
I have fond memories, mate.
The Batmobile used to be parked outside the store. It was the one from Forever, right?
No, it was the one from Returns.
Was it Returns one?
Yeah.
Oh, I was very young.
Or 89.
I was very young when I saw that.
No, because it was pre-Forever.
Yeah, because
it was there before Batman Forever was.
My main memories of going to the Warner Brothers store in Manchester as a kid was, by that point, the Batmobile had gone, and it was like the Looney Tunes characters were around the fountain outside instead. God, I love it. Anyway.
Oh, wonderful thing, mate. Wonderful.
Ben Affleck does not want to play Batman anymore.
No.
He's got one more performance of the character that is in the bank. Enjoy it. Don't shit on other Batmen. And also, no offense to the men, but obviously the performances is what I'm referring to here. If people are saying they're bringing back the worst Batman with Keaton, your motherfuckers never watched Clooney's performance, did you?
Yeah, but it's not important. It's not relevant to their arguments, so they're ignoring it.
Exactly.
It doesn't exist.
Bullshit! You're all bullshit. And one last piece of news, which is DC related, and this isn't us mocking, this is genuinely kind of weird and sad. This came out shortly after we recorded last week. The slate of release for the DC movies has been massively affected last week, and as of yet, we don't have an explanation as to why. So the Batman came out 2 weekends ago, and what was next slate to come out from DC was DC's League of Super Pets, the Crypto the Superdog movie. Was coming out next, which released a new mini teaser last week revealing that Keanu Reeves is the voice of Batman.
Yeah, which I quite like.
It's sort of this weird John Wick subversion thing with him like not wanting a dog and then getting a dog. Is like, this is great. Really fun choice of casting as well. And then we were going to get Black Adam. Originally we were going to get Black Adam earlier this year, and then it was slated for later in the year, right?
Yes.
And then we were going to get The Flash later this year, and then Aquaman in time for Christmas.
Yes.
This was the year of heroes. Like, that was the whole thing. That was the market. I mean, the post-credit scene for The Batman is the Year of Heroes promo in cinematic proportions. The Batman, Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Only one of those post-Batman movies is now getting a release this year. So, after the announcement last week, DC's League of Super Pets has been bumped back by 2 months. Black Adam has been bumped back to October-November release slates later this year.
Yeah.
So it's coming out around Halloween. Shazam! Fury of the Gods has been brought forward to this December. So that must be in a state where they're ready to roll it.
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, yeah.
And which I'm happy
that
about.
would make sense.
Shazam's one of my favourite films from the DCEU so far. So getting the sequel sooner, and not long after the Shazam spin-off Black Adam, great! We're getting 2 fucking, old school Captain Marvel related movies within the space of 2 months.
Yeah.
Brilliant! That's amazing. Drum up that publicity and then have the inevitable crossover with both characters sometime in the next 2 years. And then finish it. Close it off there. That's it. That's it for both characters. Isn't this great? 4 movies. Really cool. The Flash has been moved back to next summer. Aquaman's been moved back to next spring.
Yeah.
How this affects any other upcoming projects remains to be seen. But as of this recording, on Tuesday the 15th of March, we don't know why this has happened. Imagine spending the first 2 months of the year pushing a big promotional campaign about how 2022 is DC's year.
Yeah.
And then suddenly having to shove it all back. It's weird, man. It's so weird. Like making a big deal out of, Keaton's Batman Returns and shit. We don't know how it's going to affect HBO's Batgirl movie yet. We don't know how that's going to... With it being Keaton and also J.K. Simmons as Gordon, this suggests that after The Flash, things are going to be mushed around a bit in terms of the universe. So that's going to have to be put back, I guess, to complement The Flash being put back to next summer. Because I think Batgirl was slated for early next year. And now it'll have to be later next year at the very earliest.
Yeah.
This is weird. DCEU fans, both sane, sensible, and unhinged, I feel for you. This sucks. It sucks that you're having to wait longer. That's so weird. Hopefully you are of the same mind that you can still enjoy other superhero media and have a good time with it. And you're not part of this really stupid bullshit fraternity Marvel versus DC brain, because that brain rot is setting in like crazy.
We're just not anymore.
I said on Twitter, do you remember when nerd culture, geek culture was seen as uncool, and now it's the mainstream? These pricks are going to make it uncool again.
Can we not just like multiple things? Is that all right? Can we like?
It's cool to like none, one, or both. It's totally fine, and y'all need to shut the fuck up. Speaking of things we like, but reluctantly talk about.
We are reluctant to talk about because it just leads us down. You've been down that road, Neo. You know where it goes.
Yeah, but I'm still getting a 4th film like 20 years later for some reason.
We should talk about that at some point in the future. But anyway,
that's
not what we're talking about today. We're talking about...
We'll do a commentary. For patreon.com/breakdown.
Talking about Doctor Who.
Old and new Doctor Who, you bastards. Bit of context for those who just haven't heard or haven't been around long enough on the podcast to know. What was your first exposure to Doctor Who?
It was a man.
Which one exposed themselves to?
It was a man wearing a big hat and a big scarf, jumping out of the bushes on the way home from school.
Big coat,
opening
nothing
his
else.
coat. No. Oh God, it would have been some of the BBC repeats in the early 90s when I was but a wee bairn. Mm-hmm. Either Pyramids of Mars or The Green Death, and then the couple of VHSs that my dad had. My dad was a big Doctor Who fan. And then... That is, he's not gone anywhere. Speed back in the past tense.
He's in the bushes trying to find that flash.
Yeah,
because he's trying to kick his ass for like 30 years.
So yeah, we just, as I got older and got more into it, we accrued more the chesses and then later DVDs, and I've just loved the classic series. And then some clever bastard called Rusty T brought it back.
Clever bastard called Rusty T.
And then you know they brought it back, and the show just went from strength to strength and didn't at all become contentious and patchy in quality after other showrunners took over. And it's the best it's ever been.
I mean, it's the best looking it's ever been. Let's be honest. It's for the last. You know, we've been, me and Lucy in our marathon for our YouTube series have been in series 6 of the Modern Run, which is where my interest in it started to get challenged a lot because of decisions and certain stories.
And I'm generally positive on Chibnall's run as well. So,
but it looks fantastic. It's a fantastic looking show still, and central performances are the things that seem to keep me coming back. Like, I think I've said this before. I think Matt Smith is the strongest actor of the modern era playing the role. Not counting, obviously, one-offs like John Hurt or Joe Martin. I mean, consistently, because even if I'm having a terrible time with the story, or I think the dialogue that the Doctor's been given is weird, creepy, or sexually inappropriate, which happens a lot in his latter half, because Moffat can't keep his pen in his pants.
He's very weird.
Smith is endlessly watchable.
He is. He's very watchable.
In a way that Capaldi, incredible actor. No actor who's played the part ever, full stop, is a bad actor. They are all phenomenal talents.
This is true.
Every single one of them. Splendid chaps and chapesses, all of them.
It's the charisma.
But Smith carries me through stories I dislike.
In ways that some other doctors
Capaldi hasn't managed to, Jodie hasn't managed to, it's just, there's something about him. It's just like, what a proper bubbly child of a man that he is. The enthusiasm shines through. My exposure was TV movie as a kid.
Yes!
One of my earliest memories is
remembering... I remember getting excited about when it was coming out.
I was in a caravan in Newquay, and I remember my dad being really excited about... We had to be back that evening, like we're on holiday, in Cornwall and whatnot, so we're having tea out most nights. But that night, we had to be back, and my dad was excited about a thing that was going to be on the telly. And it was the TV movie, and I have clear enough memories of the blue box. I remember the Seventh Doctor getting shot in the alley, and then when he changed, I was amazed by it, because I was like, oh my god, like, the character came back. I remember the Master pulling his fingernails off as the body was falling apart. As a 5-year-old, I was like, this is amazing!
Did you remember that you always dressed for the occasion?
I did.
Oh.
That led to a trip to the Dapol factory.
Yeah!
A few years later, Clongoflin, where I got... one of my first sort of traumatic experiences. I was proper freaked out. Did you ever go to that one?
Oh yeah, several times.
Amazing, right? So it was for those who don't know, it was
I went to the opening of the exhibition.
There you go.
And got pics and signings from Sylve and Colin, and briefly, I don't think I got a signing with John Nathan Turner, but he was there.
Yeah.
And
hiding in the topiary.
Hiding in the topiary.
In a hat and a scarf and a long coat, and they go blah. No,
yeah, exactly.
No, I was making a comment on him having a very floral shirt.
And we've got a poster from that opening for the exhibition, signed by Sylvester McCoy.
That's really cool.
And he's got what he's done is he's drawn on the TARDIS bit on one of the panels. He drew the guy looking over the wall with the big nose.
Yeah.
But with the
nosy bonk.
Yeah, with the Seventh Doctor's hat on.
That's cute.
And it'd be like Sylve was here.
That's cute.
Which is cute. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool.
What a lovely man.
It's very cool.
It was great, wasn't it? Because you got to look around different toys that they created and everything at the factory.
The prototypes, mate.
Oh yeah, but the Doctor Who exhibit was it was for a little kid, and this might have been your experience going there. It was proper creepy.
I would not go in.
Black panelled walls and darkened rooms, and it was sort of Doctor's costumes, recreation of a living room with mannequins hiding behind the couch watching the first episode on the telly. There was a version of the TARDIS console room.
I would not go in for 2 hours after we arrived.
Yeah.
I got proper worked up because I was convinced that they had the melting Kane figure from Longleat there.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was the one bit of Doctor Who that just absolutely freaked me out.
Yeah.
Just couldn't couldn't handle it.
Okay.
It's like that 2-second shot of Kane melting from Dragonfire.
I'm done.
Meant I didn't watch Dragonfire till I was like in my 20s.
Jeez.
Also partly because I didn't have Dragonfire in my 20s. And then
entrance to part of it is through a TARDIS.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah,
I remember that. And I remember that it was almost like levels of freakiness.
Yeah.
Like the first room was sort of doctor's costumes and companion outfits and Brigadier and sort of those kind of characters.
And there was stuff in there that's now since been lost as well. Like when they had the Longleat fire, some of the stuff that had been at Llangollen had moved back to Longleat, and then things like the android from the Visitation was destroyed and stuff like that. It's just.
I remember because I already had a bit of a fear of mannequins. Doctor Who solidified.
You're in the right place.
Well, Doctor Who solidified that when I watched Spirit from Space for the first time on like a UK Gold repeat, and that was it. I was done. And as a result, that's become one of my favourite stories because it still tickles that that's so freaky. Living in Ealing for 2 years and walking past that window every day on the way to work didn't help. The Autons being the first villains of the revival didn't help because I was like, yay, Doctor Who's coming back. That thing that I've grown to love through videotapes and repeats on UK Gold. What's the first monster? Oh, those things. Okay. But the thing that freaked me out the most in the Dapol exhibit was the Mara.
Yeah.
Big fucking puppet. Massive snake puppet just stuffed into a glass case.
And the
fangs and everything. It was always freaky
because they had a light up sort of mini animatronic.
Because it was the one from Kinder. It was like the purpley reddish one. Yeah.
Was the other one that was really cool because they had a little push button thing where its eyes moved was from the Awakening.
Oh God, yeah, with the big old face.
The face in the wall.
Yeah, I remember the Davros and some of the Daleks were in their own section as well. You press the button and the Dalek could move.
With the special weapons Dalek, and I hadn't seen Remembrance at that point, so I was like, what the fuck is that?
What's that thing?
So I have to bring the pictures sometimes. I must have been 10 or something.
That'd be cool. Whip them out, son.
I've got the photographs at home still.
And I remember that was the first time I ever hopped into a Dalek. Obviously later exhibitions like the Doctor Who exhibition, Doctor Who experience, they would all do versions of this in the years after, but a half Dalek in front of a wall of dance mirrors. So you could sort of crouch in it, see yourself through the grid, and get a sense of what it was like to perform one of the Daleks.
And a little voice modulator in it. That never worked.
They never worked quite right. I just sounded talking into a fan.
Yeah. Which, to be fair,
not that far off.
No, yeah.
That's what Nicholas Briggs does when he's at home. And he doesn't have his ring modulator, where he just grabs a fan at all times. He's just talking into a fan. His wife's like,
Nicholas Briggs actually evolved to the point where he can do the Dalek voice without any equipment. His larynx has mutated.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's put a ring modulator in his teeth, and he can just sort of
a ring modulator.
He just sort of clicks a little switch with his tongue, and it just drops into his mouth. He's
not got a suicide pill tooth. He's got a voice modulator tooth. He gets it with his tongue like that. Bites down.
Snaps out, so it could be a Dalek at any moment, and then he has to reach in his pocket and bring out another tooth cap to replace it.
And every time he goes to his dentist is like, Nick, what have you done? You're trying to put me out of a job! I don't know why his dentist is like New York.
I don't know why him having to have more dental surgery and put the dentist out of a job. Surely that'd be the best thing for the dentist.
No, because it's just the one tooth over and over again. He has spares.
Oh, right. So he's not replaceable. He's like, Nick, you've got to let me fix this. No need.
No need. I've got my voice modulator tooth, and I've got a bunch of Big Finish toys to record it, so I've ordered 20.
Big Finish, for the love of teeth.
For the love of teeth.
That doesn't make any sense, Nick.
We love teeth. What the fuck are we talking about?
I listened to over this last week.
What did you listen to over this last week?
The whole thing is on Spotify. The 2013 50th anniversary series recorded by Big Finish for BBC Audio Go.
Oh yeah.
Destiny of the Doctor.
Oh yeah, it is on Spotify, isn't it?
Whole thing's there. Series of stories, one for each Doctor at the time, read by an actor associated with that era. And a guest actor to sort of fill out one or two of the roles. So it's an audio book style performance with a hint of audio drama flair, kind of like the Companion Chronicles. From the earlier sort of stuff. And it's wonderful. And in each one, there's a moment where the Doctor or their companion gets a message from this. Sometimes they get to see him, this weird-looking sort of young geography teacher kind of bloke with big hair and a bow tie, who basically makes sure that they do a certain thing that has to be done. And then the final story, The Time Machine, read by Jenna Coleman, which is a very sort of Sharda-esque, takes place at Oxford, not Cambridge, but it's that Sharda-esque kind of vibe. The story of a student who's working with a professor on apparently the first ever time machine in 2013, and it's obviously like it's got some investors, but it's being kept quite quiet. And the 11th Doctor's involvement in stopping it and the things that are using it to sinister effect.
Sinister effect.
It's a really great series. If you have Spotify,
then you have everything.
But go listen to it. Search Doctor Who. Click on See Discography, and the 11 most recent editions are the Destiny of the Doctor audios. Listen to them in order. You'll have an amazing time.
You will.
Absolute highlight is the 6th Doctor and Perry story, written by I can't remember who writes that one, but it's narrated by Nicola Bryant, and it's such a great piece because it's about them getting to America shortly after it being found by Columbus.
Ah.
Well, no, it's not America. I think it's wherever Columbus went first on the way to America.
Well, Columbus never went to America.
Well,
they just think that he did.
Yeah, but like wherever it was,
they don't know how to do
wherever
history
it was,
in
he
America.
arrived first, and it's this whole thing of Perry basically challenges the Doctor's like, "Isn't this amazing? We're going to interact with the man who found your country," and Perry's like, "And who claimed it despite it already belonging to people."
Yeah.
Like.
Oh no, he did go to America. He wasn't the first to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Perry making the whole thing of like, he's not a guy to be worshipped.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? And the Doctor's like, no, but it's like discovery and adventure. And she's like, he was a murderer. Like, he was an invader. And then like they meet a character, a guy who's dying from tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And obviously Perry's like, we've got to help him. The Doctor's like, we can't interfere with history. And she's like, what is? I bet you have the correct medicines on the TARDIS for this. And he's like, well, yes, but that's not the point. And essentially the story's amazing because it's Perry calling out the Doctor.
Oh, the shit he does.
On the bullshit of like the selectiveness and the hero worship and like how misguided he kind of is without even realising it.
And 6 is
it's
really
a great story.
He's a really good choice for that as well.
It's a really good story.
Arrogant, absolutely.
I highly recommend it. It's also great because it was BBC official. Really, BBC Audio Go Big Finish made them, but they were released for BBC Audio Go.
Yes.
And yet the 8th Doctor story is an 8th Doctor and Charlie Pollard story.
Hey.
Read by India Fisher. So that was even pre Night of the Doctor. That was the official range going. All right, fine. The Big Finish characters can be canon if you want them to be.
Everything is canon and nothing is canon.
And also, it's India Fisher reading it, so it's a really great performance. Yeah, so that's been nice. Doctor Who, we like it. We're fans of it.
We like it.
We're going to reluctantly answer some questions.
Reluctantly.
Emails or tweeties. I thought I'd start us off on the wrong foot.
You start us off on the wrong foot with some tweeties. I've got some emails queued up.
We got a tweetie from Arbiter of Canon.
Ooh.
I am Spartacus63.
I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus.
Who said, any and all questions? Is there room within the canon, nebulous concept though it is, for any type of Dalek to have the potential to fuck?
Yes.
I mean, you saw Dalek sex sack, right?
Listen.
That thing could consume an entire man. If that ain't insertion in some way.
For something to be considered truly a life form, it must have the ability to reproduce. And...
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, there's the species, like, within its genetic
which
makeup.
would suggest some sort of reproductive facility. And if that's not a sexual reproduction or some kind of splitting or budding, perhaps, then it may involve some form of intercourse, yeah.
Now, to be fair, y'all don't have to be able to make baby juices to fuck.
No. Also, it could just be fun.
Yeah. So, that being said,
they have...
Do the Daleks have the capacity? I think the new series Daleks do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
How many appendages? How many orifices? Shall we see how they match up?
Genesis Daleks, no, because they're just like organs with stringy bits. Like,
now listen,
they ain't really
Christopher
doing anything to themselves. Yeah.
Slugs can fuck. So if slugs can fuck, Daleks can fuck, regardless of their mutant design.
But Daleks are beings of pure hatred, right?
They are beings of pure
So would
hatred.
every fuck be a hate fuck?
Yeah. Next question.
Which Dalek do you think... Right.
Listen, Mummy Dalek's got needs.
In the interest of Dalek-human relations, which Dalek do you think you could fuck? What type of Dalek? What area?
I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not attracted
So not even the little clawy hand boy from the Daleks?
God, no.
It's like reaching out from under that coat.
My nethers are very sensitive.
But its hand turns over and it curls a finger like, come back to bed!
Oh, that's not coming anywhere near me.
Okay.
I got very sensitive downstairs regions. Even with a lot of moisturiser, I think that'd leave an impression I don't want. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to, kids.
Thanks for that, Spartacus, you bastard.
What else you got for us on the tweeties?
Daniel Fox sent us a triple question.
Did they now?
Little bit on the vanilla side. These ones, a little bit vanilla.
Oh, I'm a vanilla boy. I like it.
But if this is the first time someone's tuned into one of our episodes, I think it's fair. So,
I think you're making excuses, but okay.
Firstly, yeah, Daniel. Firstly, what's your favourite story
All of them.
for each Doctor?
Oh, piss easy. Next.
Go on then.
So first Doctor
Hartnell.
is the Hartnell's the Aztecs.
Aztecs.
Troughton's
Aztecs follow very closely by War Machines. I really like the War
Troughton's Tomb of Cybermen. Pertwee.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. Tomb of the Cybermen. Well, then again, I do like the Web of Fear quite a lot.
Web of Fear's alright.
Yeah.
It doesn't end. Well, then it is very Quatermass in the Pit. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Pertwee.
Demons.
Oh, okay. Terror of the Autons. Because it's a sequel.
Okay.
It's a sequel to the story that traumatized me,
Okay.
and it gives us Joe Grant and the Master,
Okay.
and those fucking daffodil Autons with the giant smiley doll heads,
Okay.
who are freaky as hell. I can't wait to get that eventual collection slimline box set because I really, 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 really want a Zigga Ziggar. I want to see the CGI updated effects for the shit troll doll. Tom. City of Death for me.
It could be anything from seasons 12 through 14, but at this particular moment, on this particular day, so at, 4:45 on Tuesday the 15th of March 2022, is Pyramids of Mars.
Pyramids of Mars? For Peter, by default 5 Doctors, because it's one of my comfort stories.
Caves of Androzani.
I mean, yeah, that is probably his best.
There we go.
But five Doctors for me because it's a comfort story.
Yeah.
6th Doctor.
Revelation.
Yeah.
Revelation of the Daleks.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I mean, I love all of his stories, in all honesty, even the shit ones.
All 6 of them.
But I do... but yeah, Revelation of the Daleks. Oh god. 7th Doctor.
Curse of Fenric.
At this particular moment, at 3:45.
Okay.
Ghostlight's one I want to fuck with again.
Ghostlight's really fucking
because
good, dude.
It's like, what is happening? Why is this happening? I don't get it. Oh, this suddenly got really like cosmic and biblical. Oh, the things he's doing to people are actually kind of horrific. Wait, this is the reason we're here?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
That last his last season, it is so frustrating how good that last season is.
Yeah.
That it ended up being the show's last.
Yeah. Closely followed by Survival, because again, I just think it's them all. Yeah. They're all operating at peak.
The silliness of Battlefield included. That last season's really fucking good.
Yeah. 8th Doctor. I mean, obviously, it's defaults the TV movie, but like, is there any other 8th Doctor thing, adaptation, comic, audio that you go, oh, that's actually really good use?
I've not listened to a ton of the 8th Doctor audios, but the ones I have listened to, I'm quite a big fan of Sword of Orion, and I'm quite a big fan of Chimes of Midnight.
Human Resources for me.
Okay. Alright.
It's from the Lucy Miller stuff. That's the only big finish I've really listened to, is the 8th Doctor Lucy Miller 4 series of that.
Yeah, I've only been listening to the first season of him and Charlie stuff.
Yeah. Don't send us recommendations.
We won't listen to them.
9th Doctor. Bad Wolf Partner of the Ways. It's my favourite Doctor, it's my favourite series ever, so I'm biased no matter what, but that finale and Eccleston's graceful bow out, knowing as well what we know now of what was going on in his life and his troubles with the production and everything, knowing that he still made that ending such a warm, like, I was so glad that I got to be here and thank you, Rose moment. Yeah. And he's one of the few Doctors who regenerates with a smile. He goes out with a smile.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Dalek is a second strong contender.
Dalek's very good.
Because it's so fucking good.
I'm a really big fan of The Unquiet Dead as well.
Father's Day is really, really good.
That entire season's good.
The whole year, damn
it. The entirety of that first season. The first new season.
Triple the flammability of the... What? You're making it up. Yeah. 10 at midnight, 1,000 times midnight for me.
I really like Waters of Mars.
Damn, it's strong, yes. Gadget. 11th Doctor. I mean, if we're talking about favourite story for each Doctor, like, one... their era.
Yeah.
I've not rewatched it in years and I'm about to get to it in our marathon. I think my favourite's going to become The Girl Who Waited.
Okay.
Because I remember watching that. I've only ever watched that one, maybe twice, and the last time was about 9 years ago. And I remember thinking, holy shit, this is impressively dark. But it's not really a story about the Doctor, or one where the Doctor's prominent. It's very Doctor-like compared to others. So, barring that, Vincent and the Doctor.
I mean, yeah, that's it. That's the best one.
Yeah.
That's the best Matt Smith one.
Great performance from Matt, great performance from Karen, great performance from Tony Curran.
Because
beautiful music from Murray Gold.
For me, once Amy and Rory leave, it just takes a plunge downhill.
I think the plunge begins while they're still there. Because Series 5 is the perfect ending and wrap up for their story.
Series 5 is really good.
And then, obviously, they get brought into the arc of Series 6, Part 1. Of, like, what's going on with the Ganger and everything, but, like, you didn't need to do that story. It sort of feels like they're just accessories to the plot, and they recycle certain things. When my review comes out later this year in our YouTube series, folks, for Series 6, the first 3 episodes of Series 6, just wait till you get to hear me talk about Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, because fuck me... utter trash.
I'm looking forward to
We've all been tricked into thinking it's good.
I've got a long way to go before I catch up with you.
Are you still in Hartnell? Or
I finished Series 9 and started watching your review of it today.
Hey, you're in John.
So, yeah.
You're on the John.
I watched The Time Monster. Is The Time Monster supposed to be a parody? When they're talking about Tom Tit and they've got that big time detector that looks like a cock and balls.
Tom Tit. Oh, God, it's been, 2 years since we recorded that and you brought it all back.
It's because I've not got to you talking about it on your review yet.
Yeah.
It's Tom Tit. Tom Tit?
Tom Tit.
Yes, Tom Tit! They just keep saying it! Yeah, and then it's a completely different story for the last one. Anyway.
What's the creature in that called again? The thing that's...
Kronos.
That's a Kronos! Capaldi's.
Yeah. Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yeah, same. I don't have much affection for the rest of it.
I really... it's so disappointing because I really like Peter Capaldi.
World Enough and Time in The Doctor Falls, actually, is quite a strong contender. What should be his last story is quite a strong contender.
Particularly is very good.
I'm also... I wouldn't say it's like the best one from his era, but I'm also a massive Sleep No More apologist.
Okay.
I think it gets a bad rap. It's got some issues. My God, has it got some issues. The treatment of Bethany Black, the casting of her in a role that's like, yay, this is the first trans actor to ever really appear in the show, and then make them a monosyllabic grunt is sort of unfortunate because at no point was that ever the plan, but it's just what a weird chain of events there.
Weird choice.
Did you not think, maybe not, maybe we don't cast her in this role, maybe we give her something a bit more substantial?
Obviously not, Chris.
Yeah.
Obviously they didn't.
But I know that's a story that even though, that's the one where I think we're going to get video essayists and whatnot 4 or 5 years after it's in the next couple of years, who grew up with Capaldi's era, who are teens on YouTube now, will talk about that's the one that gave them nightmares because of the wraparound stuff with Reece Shearsmith.
Yeah, okay.
And the implication of what you have watched and what it means to you, the viewer, by the end. Which, even though it's ripping off a little bit the 10th Doctor audio Dead Air from a few years prior, which is the same thing, but it's about sound waves.
Yeah!
Which is really good. Dead Air is amazing. That sound mix that...
Yeah.
It just keeps playing in between the scene transitions. Oh, so creepy. And Jodie Whittaker's era is still going on as of the recording of this. Favourite one so far?
Rosa.
Yeah, Rosa for me.
Closely followed by Demons of the Punjab.
Maybe Spyfall?
Spyfall's very good.
Specifically Spyfall Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really, really great opener. And I've also got a huge soft spot for Resolution.
Yep.
Because didn't see it fucking coming.
Yeah.
Even though they kind of ruined it in the days leading up to it with, like, Dalek voice in the trailer. You're like, so a Dalek's going to be in it.
Yeah.
But, like, it still works really well.
It's a cool story, man.
And Ryan finally gets something to do, really. Like, him and his dad actually get... That story comes into it, and the idea of a sadistic Dalek that enjoys doing what it's doing because it's like...
That's a Dalek.
It's what they're called again. What are those ones called?
Recon Dalek?
That's it, Recon Dalek. Like they're the scout. They're early Skaro days. They're the ones that are sent out to scout into the universe and find places for them to study and conquer. And this guy got absolutely trounced by armies like hundreds of years ago and split into 3 pieces and buried and everything. Like, united conflicting tribes and territories in their, like, you know, their shared interest of, we all will stay alive if we all work together to kill this thing. Great idea. And then the fact that it's, like, puppeting someone. And obviously we get a bit more of that Dalek in Revolution of the Daleks.
Yes.
A bit, because he gets cloned and essentially it's the same character.
Yes.
And then he gets taken out like a pussy. And it's like, oh, that sort of sucks. And that story sucks. So that's fine.
Yes. Even the Daleks was good, though.
Even the Daleks was a lot of fun. A little creepy, but a lot of fun. A little creepy in the wrong ways. But a lot of fun.
Yeah, I get it.
I am not Nick. Secondly, asks Daniel, what's your most underrated Doctor Who story? I mean, Ghostlight is one that we've praised. That is one that really kind of needs reappraisal.
Claws of Axos. I feel like people write it off as a bit of silly, like early 70s
tendril walls and shaky cameras.
I think it's really fucking good.
I like Claws of Axos a lot.
I really like it.
Bottle or budget episodes are ones I always think get overlooked, like Edge of Destruction.
Yeah.
Boomtown.
Some of the more
some of the best writing of that first series is in Boomtown because it was written out of, we have no money, I need to tell a story.
Well, that's the thing. Watching that early John period, those first 3 seasons, particularly season 9.
Yeah.
You've got 2 stories in there which are thematically even more relevant now to when they were written. You know which ones I'm going to say, don't you?
I mean, Inferno.
No, specifically from season 9.
Oh, from season 9, go on.
Curse of Peladon.
Yes.
Because it's all about the EU.
Yes.
And the mutants. Because it's all about climate change.
Yes. Fuck.
Now, the mutants, don't get me wrong, the mutants is too fucking long.
Yeah, the mutants is
too long.
It's not an enjoyable watch.
It's not a great story, but thematically, it's doing some really interesting things. And I think it's more relevant now than it ever has been. And it was the first time I'd seen it when I watched it recently. I'd never seen the mutants before. Curse of Peladon, it's it's the EU. And we're Peladon.
Yeah.
And we fuck it. Unlike Peladon, we fuck it. I
mean...
Fucking chubbed it, haven't we?
Oh my god, I mean, by that logic as well, anyone that is a brilliant allegory or statement for something at the time that is unfortunately still relevant is kind of underrated.
Yeah.
It's not an amazing story. It's got some fucking great visuals in it. But the Sunmakers...
I've not seen it. I'm really looking forward to when I get to it because I've never seen it and I hear great things
It's
about
basically... Fuck HMRC!
Yeah!
I will happily pay my way, but you're fucking me around, son.
Colony in Space does some interesting stuff with that as well. Again,
yeah?
It's too long, but its themes are interesting. I think there's a lot of that in John's period that just gets written off as like weird wobbly set stuff.
Yeah, but come on. Even though you know the recurring body of that series going in, can you imagine watching that, not realising that was the thing, and then him rocking up, and you'd be like, "Fucking, it's him! It's Beardy Man!"
Well, we got it with Spyfall.
Yes.
Like they were really good about not spoiling that Sacha Dhawan was the master.
Oh, Sacha Dhawan's so good. Sacha Dhawan. If he doesn't turn up in the last 2 stories for Jodie, I do hope that he's one element that Russell goes, go on, let's keep him.
Love to see him again. I think he's great.
I'm going to say something controversial, but I don't give a fuck. Underrated might not be the best description. Definitely overhated. Y'all need to just, like, stop shitting on Love and Monsters the way you do.
I've not seen it for a long time, so maybe I'll watch it again.
It's not great, but it's an experiment for one episode.
Yeah, I just think it's a failed experiment.
that you may do so.
Yeah,
but
again,
it's got one of
haven't-
Camille Kajuri's best performances as Jackie.
Because I didn't
Mark
like
Warren
it.
is a perfectly standoffish lead character, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
The Compare the Meerkat guy's in it.
Jesus Christ.
Mr. Partridge. He's in it. Bliss. It just Peter Kay is many things, lots of them wonderful. He's one of the reasons why tonally it doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
Because suddenly the episode goes, comedy guest star. No, he's not playing it for laughs. He's not playing it for laughs, but it's very kind of, It just sort of feels a bit weird.
Jarring, yeah.
A different performer maybe would have got a better result, or maybe having the whole episode be a little more wacky from the beginning. But then again, it's very melancholic in places. Like the Jackie confrontation scene between Jackie and Elton.
That's what
Is wonderful and horrible and upsetting.
Actually, one of the things I do really like about the RTD era that goes away a bit in Stephen Moffat's is there is a sort of sense of melancholy and fatalism about the show.
Yeah.
Generally, even when good stuff happens, there is a sort of sense that it's only temporary.
End of World War III when they're like, for me it'll be weeks, Mum, but like, you wait. At 10 seconds, I'll be back in 10 seconds.
She's not.
And the TARDIS goes and the TARDIS doesn't reappear, and Jackie just she waits there because she's obviously hoping that her daughter's going to come back in 10 seconds, and she doesn't. And it's like,
back till Christmas.
Oh my god! Like Russell's era did such a great job with that, and a lot of that is down to Camille Kajuri and Billy Piper, and some unnamed person who I can't remember, but I think they played Rose's boyfriend. Maybe.
God, that's gonna be weird. Going back and watching that at some point.
Considering I rewatch series 1 at least once a year.
Yeah.
I've not found it too jarring simply because the dramatic use of Mickey Smith has helped me kind of again, personal thingies vary. It's helped me quite easily separate Noel Clarke from Mickey Smith. And the fact that he's not around a lot helps too.
Yeah.
And it is, again, objectively, it's a very good performance. Just a shame he's dirty and scummy. He's working with, I think it's Channel 4, which would make sense because they're working with John Cleese on that cancelling documentary.
Oh, God.
Noel Clarke's working on a thing with them about how his life's been affected by his cancelling, and it's like, my dude, the reason people don't want to work with you is because it came out that you abused and sexually degraded several people that you worked with and who worked for you for over a decade.
Oh, God.
You can't go boo-hoo, oh, woe is me, my career dried up because you got found out for being a scumbag. You got found out for being a scumbag, you either apologise and deal with the consequences, take some time out, and then come back and hope that people find you palatable enough to see you've changed, or you just shut the fuck up and move on and do something else for a career. Just go and become a hands-off producer in productions.
Yeah.
Just, God. Emphasis on hands-off.
Just getting a fucking C, mate.
Jesus.
Or what else we got?
Sorry, yeah, there was one last question on that one from Daniel. And finally, which two Doctors would you most like to see interact with each other in a future episode? Weird question for me, because I hate the overuse of the multi-Doctor format.
Yeah, I get you.
It was, when I was growing up, even as the show came back, it was amazing that there were these 3 occasions.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know about Dimensions in Time, but there were those 3 occasions where Doctors interacted. Yeah. That was fascinating to me. I mean, what is it? Which Colin story is it where you learn about John and, is it Time Lash? Where you learn that the Third Doctor and Joe had been to this planet in the past, because there's the mural of them and stuff on the wall.
It must be.
Which gets in Death of the Doctor, the Sarah Jane story, she references that planet when she's listing off memories. Joe does, which was Russell's way of going, there we go. Joe, now in canon on screen, has referenced that adventure that we never saw but was alluded to.
She remembers the Borad. No,
But you know what I mean? It's that to me was special because it was it's not multi-Doctor, but it's that whole thing thought of, a different one's been here at a different point in time. That's cool. So, the 3 Doctors, the 5 Doctors, and to a lesser extent, but it's still fun, the 2 Doctors, was great. Like, that's cool. It's unique and special. And then the fact that they do it all the time in audio, there are whole box sets built around it, just kind of ruins. And also just in universe. In universe, it kind of ruins the rules set up of like, yeah, if we're appearing together, it either has to be the gravest of emergencies on a universal scale, or something has gone horribly wrong and someone's forced us into this situation. 3 Doctors, the Time Lords are like, we will monitor the time streams to keep this as stable as possible, but the Doctor needs to solve that problem. We're going to send him help in the form of 2 of his former selves, and we will monitor it the entire time. Like, the Time Lords are monitoring the flow of time and existence the entire time, so that doing this does not rip a hole in the universe.
Yeah.
And then in the 5 Doctors, similar-ish thing, someone snatched incarnations of them out of time. So we're going to send in the Master to deal with it, because we don't want to touch it in case it blows a hole in the universe.
I don't want to touch that, I don't know where it's been.
And then the 2 Doctors is like, oh shit, we shouldn't have... Wait, no, hang on. No, this did happen, didn't it? Oh, you bastard. Right, let's get this resolved and leave. So the fact that it then happens... I mean, Time Crash, the first instance of it happening in the modern era, it's set as a, oh god, no! We're going to blow up the universe! All of existence by this happening! And then they cancel it out, and they're like, oh, thank god. Have a little chat. Off they pop. Wasn't that lovely? Wasn't it special? Oh, look, it's a special event for Charity Children in Need 2007.
Yeah.
I don't like them meeting up all the time.
No.
That being said, because of his admiration for his fellow actor, because he's a very women in stories positive performer, because of what we know of his political opinions, his social opinions, and because he's basically caused controversy this past couple of weeks when asked, so who's your Doctor Who? And he said, Jodie Whittaker, because she's the current Doctor, and I think that's what's important. Like, that's what's important. What she's doing for the show is important. The 9th Doctor and the 13th Doctor. If I had to, I want to see Eccleston and Whittaker on screen.
I'd love to see Eccleston and multi-Doctor.
Because they've worked together. They've done theatre together and everything. So there's already that little unbuilt chemistry.
I'd love to see him with Joe Martin.
Yeah.
Because I think...
Similar kind of reasons,
I think the belligerence in the character would play off nicely against him.
Yeah. Because we never really see 2 Doctors who are already kind of grumpy and a bit more dour interact. We only ever see ones who are a little bit more clownish interact with the dour one, which then kind of... Or they bring that out in each other, like the 10th and 11th sort of are standoffish at first. Almost as though it's just that thing of, ew, no, not another me, ew, no. And it's like...
Cup of soup.
What is cup of soup?
It's a cup of soup.
You know what cup of soup is, Grandad.
You've definitely eaten cup of soup.
You're telling me that you served as the scientific advisor at UNIT for several years and you never had a cup of soup? No, you just go into aristocratic manors and politicians' houses and steal their wine and cheese.
Little sardonic perhaps, but not truly cynical.
I love that entire thing because Joe's just got this look on her face of, wait, we can do this?
I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, that's Day of the Daleks, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh god.
It's a wonderful wine cellar. What was the question?
What Doctors would you like to see meet that haven't met up? I think within the realms of reality as well, actors that...
Yeah, Eccleston and Joe Martin / Jodie Whittaker / both.
Eccleston Whittaker for me.
Eccleston.
Hearing him gush about her, I'd love to... the more obvious answer might have been like Tennant and Whittaker, because obviously they've worked together on Broadchurch and stuff, but like... We've seen, if you want to see them interact with each other, you can watch Broadchurch.
Yeah, and
whereas, unless you saw the very specific show that she and Chris were in a few years ago on stage, this would be another chance to get to see that chemistry, and that'd be very, very cool. I think I'll be honest, I think that'd be one of the few things that might tempt him to come back if they went. It's you and Jodie in a story, but
that time's passed. Or will have passed.
Email.
So, I've got a couple of emails for you.
Oh, it's the Queen! Because I love a lovely email for you. Oh, it's a nice bit.
So, this one comes in from Someone who has not signed their name, so I shall not say their name.
The mystery sender.
Do you think the Quarks could make a return to Doctor Who? Slightly redesigned, of course, to make them more modern. Yes, I do think the Quarks could make a return to Doctor Who. However, I don't think they should be redesigned to make them more modern.
No,
I think
they
you
should be
put a child in a set of boxes and just make them walk around.
with little foldy arms.
With their little foldy arms.
Little foldy arms looking like something that Wallace invented on a weekend.
Why would you want to bring the Quarks back? They weren't very good.
Do you know what? If you do, don't make them or the Dominators part of a story. Just have like a repurposed Quark, like serving drinks somewhere. Because then it's just a cute little nod of, oh my god, is that a Quark? Has someone turned into a Star Wars style
the answer is
service droid?
Yes, they have. God, I'm covered in dog.
Like that'd be cute. Someone asked me on stream this week randomly, what do you think of the Chumblies? And I went, that's a weird question. I mean, they're cute. Galaxy 4's an alright story, I guess. Again, if you want to bring a Chumbly back, just have it chuntering around in a bar somewhere.
What do you think of the Chumblies?
That's one thing I loved about the bar we see in the End of Time Part 2. Just the notion of, yeah, why not? Why not have a few random aliens in a Star Wars cantina style setting? You can throw in a couple little cameos, like there's a Slovene, there's an adipose child, whatever. Sure, like yeah, do it with the Quark. Why not? Fuck it, Quarks forever. What noise do space ducks make?
Space quacks.
Quack.
Ah.
Quack, quack, quack. Space quacks.
Space quacks. Space ducks. Space
I'm
quacks.
not shortening that. Quace. There you go. Quace.
So this one comes in from Dirty Ian.
Oh, not dirty, scruffy Ian.
With what the 11th Doctor said to the 10th Doctor, would your sonic screwdriver also be compensating for something? That's the title of the email.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, greetings, greetings, greetings. Well, I seem to be stuck in the sudden time vortex again, so I can't assist you. Just one of the many regrets of my life. Goodbye, my dears, Ian.
So that was it?
That was it.
So you're sat in a shed, being filmed. Reading from cue cards behind your camera.
Stuck in the sudden time vortex again. With what the 11th Doctor said to the 10th Doctor, would my sonic screwdriver be compensating for something? Yes. Next question.
Curry sauce all over your anus. Delish.
Okay. So now we've got some non-Doctor Who related emails which also mention Doctor Who.
Brilliant. Tangential.
So
I'll take
we're
tangential.
going to go off on a little tangent, but we're going to come back to Doctor Who.
Ooh-ee.
So first of all, this one, I don't think this one actually talks about Doctor Who at all, but
that's the healthier way.
We're coming back to the Batman.
With
this one from the vengeance-filled Bat Sam. Says, howdy boys. First off, I never want to hear what David Lynch does with panties ever again. Oh, still warm.
Still warm. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Delicious.
Such a fucking weird dude. Second off, The Batman!
Bum, 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 bum.
What an absolutely stellar movie, filled with masterclass performances, especially from Paul Dano and Colin Farrell. Well, that would be an interesting... yeah, Colin Farrell. I've seen it twice, and I'm so excited to see it many more times. It's long, though, isn't it? Inspired by your Bat-Ear ranking of the previous Bat movies, I thought I'd pop my two-penneth in, my Alfred Penneth, one might say, with my Bat ranking of the Batman movies thus far. Judge as you will.
Bat ranking. Banking.
Bat ranking. This is from top to bottom. So from best to worst.
Bam!
Batman Returns! The greatest comic book movie ever made? No, I won't elaborate. Thank you for your vindication, Sam.
Wrong, Sam, but fair enough.
The Batman.
Oh, wow, already?
Batman 89.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, alright.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes.
Batman Begins.
Yeah, sure.
Batman 66.
Yes.
Batman Forever.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, okay.
Batman Very Superman. And Batman and Robin.
Ah.
Phew.
What's the Lego Batman movie?
That's a lot of bats.
That's a lot of bats. Let's bats be having you.
Keep doing what you're best at, being big, damn and fantastic. I'm excited to know what your ominous countdown is leading up to. Something nice, I hope. Until next time.
How do we break into it?
Cheerio, my dears. It is going to be nice.
Sam.
It will be
the
nice.
Batman man.
Oh, so... And we're on a big one from Jack.
Not Jack.
Saying hello!
Ah!
My big damn chaps.
Oh, I actually made myself jump.
Before we get into two lifelong Doctor Who fans willingly talking about Doctor Who, I have some
Still under duress.
I have some pop... No one's wearing a dress. I have some pop cultural shite to talk about. Me and the lovely lady went to see the Batman and Uncharted on the same day, with a meal in between. Imagine the numbness.
Okay, fair enough. You had a break that was a meal, so I think that's do. I've done that before. Lucy and I have done that before. We've gone and watched 2 films and had a meal in between. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Okay. 1 3 hours, one a tight 90. So fair enough.
Tight 90.
Tight 90. Sure, very tight.
The Batman was spectacular. I agree. I love the hopeful spin to Batman, which hasn't been seen on the big screen for over 20 years. It's great to see a Batman on film that I can actually see having a Robin at some point. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'd love to see this Batman with a Robin. I can't wait to see more from this actually gothic Gotham City and its Capehead Crusader. Also, the Batman TV show from 2004 is amazing. It's pretty good.
I do like the Batman. You got to say it like that because that's how the theme song ended.
Shut your hole.
Okay.
Uncharted was okay. Uncharted was okay. I can definitely see Tom Holland in the role. However, Marky Mark wasn't a very funky Sully. No, bad Marky Mark.
Hey, it's me. I'm Sullivan. I'm Sully. It's me.
Quiet you.
Marky Sullivan.
Quiet.
Okay.
The ending with the ships, what was in the trailers, didn't make much sense. They made a point that the ships worth more than the gold and weren't to be damaged, yet immediately started smashing them up, with not even a look of dismay or inconvenience. That's all I have to say. Most of the set pieces were quite good. Quite good! I do so hate faint praise. Now, Doctor Who time, chaps.
You brought it back around!
I did bring it back around.
Beautiful!
Oh. Have you seen...
Yes.
Jay Exit and Stu Bagful's take on writing their own series of Doctor Who? No.
No, I quite like Stu's stuff, and I think some of Jay's stuff has been interesting and insightful, but ultimately I find the discourse around constant reassessment and slagging off of the current era to be really tiresome.
Yeah.
So the notion of... You know, like, Stu is a very good storyteller. Like, he put a story online not too long ago, a short story idea that essentially is one day everyone looks up into the sky and the end credits for Life start rolling through the sky.
Oh, God.
And everyone has to sort of come to terms with what now.
Yeah.
Which is a great... I mean, come on. What an amazing, you know...
It's very Douglas Adams concept, though.
And you know, I'm so bored of watching takedowns of the current era, even if that takedown is, here's how we would do it. No, thank you. No, thanks.
Put it this way, there's a good reason I don't tend to engage with a lot of Doctor Who fan content online.
Yeah. So, no, is the answer to that.
No is the answer to that. There's 3 seasons they've planned now, and I find some of their ideas fascinating. Well, yeah, from what you said.
Cool, I'm totally glad you're doing it. Stuart's a great storyteller.
Feel free to save this for a different pod, but if you boys had control of Doctor Who, what would you do with it? I feel like we've talked about this before. Like, I know exactly what I would do with it.
Go on. Here's with the notepad version.
I'd cancel it. No.
I mean, you've said that before. You said I'd kill it now.
I'd kill it now.
I'd kill it now, but with a contractual obligation that it would be brought back at a certain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, I would turn it into an anthology show, and have different Doctors in different episodes. So I wouldn't have a set Doctor. I would have, like, 4 Doctors that would all have individual stories that may or may not come together at the end of that series.
I just make sure it was consistent, even if it meant like 8 episodes a year. Give us 8 episodes a year.
Which is why I would have multiple Doctors, because then if one had to drop out or due to scheduling conflicts or whatever, I would have 2 more I could work with and just tweak the stories a little bit.
Fair dues. For me, I just want it to become something that, like, once a year we get it on for a few weeks, and it's really nice to have it. Or you make it like 3 specials a year, so it becomes like the show becomes on average a 75-minute long show.
That could work. Yeah.
Then if you wanted to do it as repeats, you could break it into... So make it 90 minutes.
Yeah.
3 90-minute episodes a year, and then if you want to do it as repeats, you can put it out as a 6 45-episode season, each a 2-parter.
Yeah.
And then at least that way, it's consistent, it looks great, we get a person to play the Doctor for a good, like, you know, say if they did it for 3 to 4 years, a good 12 to 16 stories playing the Doctor. And some may say, well, that's, hang on, if you want it every year, that's too little. And it's like, yeah, compared to how the modern era began, sure, but Colin hasn't got that many stories. Sylve hasn't got that many stories. You know what I mean? Surviving, Pat hasn't got that many stories. Chris hasn't got that many stories. Like, consistency.
Yeah.
Shorter seasons that happen definitely once a year with maybe a special, or a few feature-length stories each year, like scattered throughout the year.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with that. Because then it becomes an event. We all go, oh, there's a new Doctor Who. They put out a new Doctor Who next month. It's going to be on BBC One on whatever, Saturday, whatever. Let's watch it. Do you know what I mean? It becomes more of a thing. Or at least if it's a consistent season, it's like, hey, April's when Doctor Who's on for a couple of months.
Yeah.
That's all I'd change.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have writers do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care, as long as they make it. Because 9 times out of 10, I tend to like stuff.
Yeah.
Even if I don't love it, I tend to like it.
I tend to like Doctor
Very rarely is there something I come up against where I go, oh, God. And we were talking about it before. Series 9 is my least favourite series of the modern run so far. And yet, did I not earlier on defend Sleep No More?
You did defend Sleep.
So, fuck it. Just put it out there.
Hypocrite! Alternatively, what area of Doctor Who canon would you change? Preferably in Classic Who.
Ooh.
Sorry for the long-winded email, old chaps. I am indeed a fruit fly.
Thanks, Jack. Oh, that's interesting. What element of, like, original run canon would you change?
What element of canon would I change? I don't know, because canon is kind of a loose thing until you get into the JNT era.
And even then, when they do decide to change something, as long as it's in service of a good story, I don't care. Like, I currently have no problem with the Timeless Children retcon because we are seeing what that means now.
Yes.
Now, they might get to the end of it and I'll go, oh, that was kind of a wasted opportunity.
I would quite happily use that as a springboard for my anthology Doctor idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe even have, like, a lot of the stories in that told from the perspective of the people they encounter rather than the Doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
Sort of make them a more mythical figure again.
A series of Love and Monsters and Blinks and whatnot.
But anyway, that's by the by.
But like, I don't like the Eighth Doctor, the whole he's half human. Like, oh, that's interesting. Then they never did anything with it. Yeah. So it became like never mind. But I don't hate it as a notion because it's like that could have been an interesting idea. Same with Timeless Children. At the moment, I'm like, that's interesting. Let's see where it goes.
Let's explore that. And actually explore
if it ends up being a shite resolution.
Yeah.
Then it was a shite resolution, and we'll always look back on it. And do you remember that time they tried that thing and they never really did anything with it? And then that's fine, because there's 60-odd years of the programme and spin-off media to enjoy, so don't worry about it.
Things about the canon I wish I could change. I don't know. Because there's nothing that I'm thinking back to Classic Who. I'm like, oh, that was weird. That was... Well, I mean... Is there?
Closure in some sense for Susan. On screen.
Susan closure, yeah.
Like, even if it's just, he accidentally stumbles into it and has to... Because it's only ever been implied in the show why he left her behind. And he wanted her to have a proper life of her own. And you could see the romantic spark between her and David that they bonded over in, like, 3 days.
I mean, it was a bit of a dick
if a man looks after you when you've twisted your ankle... Then he immediately gets your grandfather's blessing.
It's
and I know, obviously, audios and expanded media have delved in it, but I mean, like, in the show, it would have been lovely for, like, the 5th Doctor
it's a shitty
to
thing
bump into it in a story proper, not
not
like 5 Doctors' circumstances are weird. Because in 5 Doctors, she doesn't question it.
No.
She never once says, like, you never came back for me. She doesn't question it. But that would have been lovely, like a 5th Doctor story where he just ends up in that time period and they bump into each other and
I think
they catch up. She's like, "Where are you now? Why have you never come back?"
I think there was plenty to explore there because I think it is kind of shitty for him to have made that decision for her.
It's also the first instance, really, of something that the 10th Doctor kind of clarifies in School Reunion, like, he can't look back. Like, he has to keep moving forward because eventually all of his friends will grow old and die, or die because of circumstances he's brought them into, or whatever. And he can't stand that, so it's easier for him to just move on.
Oh, I know what bit of canon I'd expunge.
But Susan's apparently a Time Lord,
Yeah.
so that
what
wouldn't happen. So, yeah. So not so much I'd change the canon, more I feel like there's one story we never got that would have been really lovely. To do it now wouldn't have the same impact, I think. It's too far along. Even though Caroline Ford would probably totally be up for it. She'd be like, yeah, go on, why not?
You know what a bit of canon I'd like to expunge?
Then again, someone else could play Susan.
I'd like to get rid of Cyberbrig.
Yeah.
Look, can we just pretend that Cyberbrig never happened?
Just never occurred.
Just never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a ton of classic series continuity that I can think of that I'm just like, well, that sucks. I want to change that. I'm fairly, I like a lot of, because it had a very light touch to continuity. Even when it started getting a bit more self-referential, like say in the late JNT era. That's his late era, not the late JNT's.
Yeah. The 80s started referencing itself a lot more.
I still like.
Which when it started doing in the 2010s, I was like, this is getting annoying now. Please stop. Twitter user Dimensions in Gen has been doing a thread that they update every now and again, where they add references to the classic era, albeit direct or implied, from the modern era. And some of them are really subtle ones, like, Doctor mentioning to Rose, like, I was a dad once. She's like, sorry, what? And then he moves on. Like, that's a little reference to the fact that he had a family, which we know because of Susan, things like that. Other stuff which I never even realised, when the Cyber King arises from the Thames in the next Doctor, one of the shot of it going past these chimneys, amongst a bunch of posters stuck to the brick wall on this building is like a poster from the Talons of Wing Fang.
Oh, the Li Cheng Chan stuff.
And it's like, that's interesting. Like, I'd never noticed that before. There's like a freaking costumes from not Doctor characters in the wardrobe in the Christmas Invasion.
Yeah. And
it's like, wait, what? Like the second Doctor's chest is in there. There's an umbrella holder in a blink and you'll miss it shot that has the 7th and 6th Doctor's umbrellas in it, and another character's hat hung on one of the umbrellas. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, I'd never noticed these things. So it's like, that's quite a cool thread. But yeah, in the 2010s, the show references the classic era so much that I'm to the point of distraction. Yeah. I'm like, keep moving forward. The reason the show survived is because it changes.
Yeah.
It's called a double dip or go back sometimes or go, fuck it, we'll bring back that monster because we've got an idea for him.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but like, the universe feels small if you just keep referencing yourself.
Yeah.
Like how Star Wars feels small if it's all about the same few characters and locations. It feels too small. Which is fine if the story is just about them. But when you go into the spin-off media, Solo, a Star Wars story, just randomly freaking bump into Ponda Baba and whatever from the canteen from Star Wars.
No, that's Rogue One.
Is that in Rogue One?
Yeah.
And they just bump into him and you're like, oh. I mean, I know this is set not that long before Star Wars, but why are they on this planet?
Yeah.
You just made it feel really small now. Like, huh? There's one in Solo somewhere where it's like a cameo of something and you go, what? Is it? No, 3PO and R2, that's in Rogue One as well, isn't it? They're on that planet. Yeah.
And that makes sense, because that does make sense, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's also like, why?
Yeah, I get you.
Like, why? You're telling stories of not the Skywalkers, and you're making the universe feel very small. If the story's good, don't give a shit. Fair enough, but it's little choices. So same with Drew.
Last little bit coming in from Jack as well, little add-on.
Jack with an add-on.
Also, a Lego Doctor Who game would be awesome. There have been rumours, but I doubt it. Doctor Who, despite having proof of concept in LEGO Dimensions, isn't a large LEGO license like Star Wars, Batman, Marvel. It would be the best Doctor Who game going, though. Would it be the best Doctor Who game going?
I agree. Do you know why?
Why do you agree?
Any Doctor Who video game that isn't an indie title along the lines of what I believe is the best Doctor Who video game up to this point, which is The Lonely Assassins.
Yes.
Which is a mobile game that you can play on console and Steam, but it's a mobile game.
Yeah.
Every Doctor Who game is doomed to fail, because what does the Doctor not do?
Shoot things.
Yeah, don't punch and combat things.
Yeah.
The Eternity Clock for the PS3 attempted to sort of balance that out by it being an 11th Doctor and River story, where River would do combat and the Doctor would do puzzle solving, but the layout, the design just was not... It left so much to be desired. It didn't work. It really did not work. The adventure games, great, because they were puzzles, third-person adventures, puzzles with stealth combat mechanics.
Yes.
So you would set traps for the villains or avoid them. They work fine, but one of the reasons why they work brilliantly is because they were partially historicals and scientific lessons. They follow the sort of the ethos of the original few years of the show of it being history and science lessons. Stuff set in the future, you're going to learn some shit about science. Stuff set in the past, you're going to learn some shit about history. Great idea. The Lego Dimensions and the Doctor Who expansion gave us the best of both worlds in terms of staying faithful to Doctor Who, but also video game action, violence, set pieces. Because it's Lego, so you're just smashing toys to pieces.
You are smashing toys to pieces.
And it doesn't feel like the Doctor is punching Daleks. It feels like a little Lego toy of the Doctor is punching a Lego Dalek.
Yeah.
There's enough separation that it didn't feel weird. I have revisited that Dimension set before. It's a ton of fun to play through.
Ton of fun.
It referenced every era of the show in a way that was nice, because it was like, again, just Easter eggs or things that you'd only really notice if you knew it.
You're not getting yourself caught up in wibbly wobbly fan wanky.
Yeah, wibbly wobbly fanny wanky. Wait, no. I think that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the best way to do a Doctor Who video game, would be a Lego Doctor Who one. Whether it not being a big enough license for TT Games to Warner Brothers Games to justify it, sure, but Lego Ninjago, despite being selling sets and a show that did well on like Cartoon Network or whatever in the States.
Yeah.
The Lego Ninjago movie game doesn't do gangbusters. Lego City franchise does well, but it's not like blockbuster numbers.
Well, yeah, it took them a long time. Well, they never did a sequel to it. They remastered it and re-released it on Switch, but they didn't do a sequel.
So, and again, I know Indiana Jones is a big and known global brand, but Lego Indiana Jones wasn't shit, really. It wasn't anything but shit. It was just fine.
I was shocked they did 2 of them.
Oh yeah, same with the Pirates of the Caribbean one. It's just fine.
Yeah.
So why not go, do you know what? Fuck it. Here's a Doctor Who one.
God, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. What a weird one to do. What a weird one to do, man. Lego Jurassic World was fucking weird as well.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. Mostly because they made all the side stuff to earn everything so weirdly complicated. It became very here's the open world of Jurassic Park in between all the story stuff. Oh, what's that? You just wasted 6 hours trying to figure out how to make this thing work. Spoiler alert, you can't do that until you've unlocked 70 red bricks. Do you know what I mean? There was no indication of whether you were wasting your time trying to figure out puzzles.
I mean, it's a video game, Christopher. It just does nothing but waste your time.
True, but there are ways to do that feel like you're being led into an experience where your choices then inform the fun you have.
Yeah.
Or we're just going to put this here and hope it distracts you enough so that you feel you've spent your money's worth on this game. Because you've used time. I would much rather play a 12-hour campaign of something that really draws me in and is brilliant than pay the same amount of money for something that takes me 70 hours to complete, but because it's just leading me on a goose chase to figure out how to complete it.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of those Lego games kind of feel. To me, the last, bar Dimensions, which was a big-ass experiment, the last great Lego game to me was Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, which is 2012, 2013. After that they all kind of shit the bed a bit.
Yeah.
They don't really know what they're doing.
I tend to agree.
I liked Lego Dimensions and I'm looking forward to the Skywalker Saga, but I think part of that is just down to the nostalgia of, these were the first ones, a Star Wars one, let's see them do it again. But Lego Force Awakens was pointless, for example.
Yeah.
Really pointless. It was let's stretch out one movie for as much as we can. It's Whereas at least with this one, you know what you're getting. This is an adaptation of 9 films with DLC side missions that are based on the spin-off movies and spin-off TV shows.
Mando.
Look at that. We started talking about Doctor Who and we went back to Star Wars.
You know why?
Why?
Because time is a flat circle.
Oh, bitch. Is that it for our emails for today? For our
I've got no more. I've got no more emails.
If you sent anything else in elsewhere, tough luck, we didn't see it today. But if there's anything relevant to any pop culture thing, really, you want to ask us, get off your chest, or say about the show, maybe, now's the time. BigDamnContact@gmail.com.
Yes.
Turn to Pierce Brosnan there toward the end.
Gmail.com.
Workers on in this town is none of your business. As long as I'm living here,
Then maybe you shouldn't be living here!
you can also tweet us at BigDamnCast, and if you want all future perks and access to upcoming stuff, hint, hint, support us for as little as £1 a month at patreon.com/BigDamnCast. But until next time,
I'll be deadly serious next time.
299 down.
1 to go!